So Robert, maybe we can begin with you telling us just how you got started on social media and maybe about the impact it's had on your law practice. Let's kind of start from the beginning there.
Yeah. So, I mean, what people always, they always assume that we do a lot of advertising or digital marketing to have this type of success. I think we almost do about 100 million a year. We've been doing that repetitively for a past few. The verdicts are about 250 million collectively, but overall about 100 million a year. And people are like, well, how does that happen? Well, we don't do any digital marketing. We don't do any SEO. It's all organic. And I just have had a different mentality on, what I call grassroots or community marketing that I've done since inception. I didn't have any seed money. My dad's a UPS truck driver. My mom raised the 5 of us kids. And, and I always had this vision of this industry across the board is built on personal relationships. So the more personally you're connected to everybody, whether through SMS, through text message, through meeting folks, or through digital or through social media, it's the best connector on the planet. You now have a unique opportunity to literally slide into anybody's DMs and connect with them, to get on their podcast, to have a one-on-one, a mentoring session. I do maybe 4 or 5 mentoring sessions for lawyers across the nation a week.
So Robert, social media specifically, where did you start? What was the first platform that you were on, and kind of what did that look like?
So I was actually Tom's first friend on MySpace. That's a real hard callback joke for anybody that wasn't on that platform.
for those MySpace folks out there.
Yeah, I was his top 8 friend. No, well, yeah, I didn't do anything on MySpace back then, but I first originally was on Facebook, and I think my handle's actually at LA Injury Lawyer or something like that, because I started to brand myself early on that. And so I was hesitant actually to get on Instagram. So my wife is a very big social media influencer, Christine Bullock. She has her own, fitness empire, supplement brand, and skincare brand, right? So she does a lot of product monetization through that. So I kept saying, you got to get on. I'm like, what am I going to do with a bunch of photographs? And we had a very smart marketing director at the time, and she was actually a manager at my favorite bar where I met my wife.
Oh, wow. That's
back
cool.
Like 2007. So she started doing some of her events. She's like, Bob, you're the oldest person in your firm. You're 32 years old. This is 2012, 2013. She's like, you got to get on Instagram. She's like, I'm going to force you to do it. I'm going to create an account for the Simon Law Group. We're just going to do really funny shit to show how much fun you guys are having, trying cases, young, cowboys and cowgirls, just having fun in the courtroom and doing things differently. And then from there, it just really exploded because nobody was really doing that. Like, they were just all stodgy old law firm, or let's do this. We were like, I did a throwback on Instagram this week where we had a wrestling party, like 2016 or 2017, where we legitimately had people dress up in spandex from the 90s, had a full-on ring, and people were like suplexing one another. Like, that was our Christmas party. So we did fun stuff.
I want to see that. Yeah.
Oh, I almost broke my buddy's neck. He kept running around and saying, what's 280 and can fly? He's a big firefighter. So I tried to suplex him and almost killed him and myself. Anyway,
wow.
I digress. Again,
that's another story.
Consumers like to see people that are like them, right? Lawyers like to work with folks that they like being around. So be that as your brand. So we started early on that, and then started doing a podcast, the Justice Team podcast. And then full circle, Teresa Deep, who was my manager at my favorite bar where I met my wife, who was our marketing director, is also the co-founder with my twin brother and I in Justice HQ.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's a big helping people on scale, mentorship on scale, tying in with media. And then we also solve all those problems that I had as a solo when I started, right? When I started 2009 or 10 with my own firm, I was paying $1,750 a month for one small office, which I share with my brother, our big ass copier. We were scanning things every day. There were no other support systems. There's no mentorship, no collaboration board. That's it. So we were like, well, the new age, and we predicted COVID before it happened, I guess. But like I've been telling people for years, lawyers, your office should be wherever you are. I carry a MiFi around in my Surface Pro. I work in the car, do Zooms in the car. It's like, you don't need the big trophy office space. You should be able to share resources. So we were like, what if we got everybody, all the elite lawyers, all approved by all the members? It's like Soho House meets WeWork meets YPO, and have them all on the same platform. Have them all in the same shared workspaces, come and go as you like, have all the resources you need there. Mentorship, you can set up your own webinar. We have social media teams. Like, on Monday, we have workshops where they can come in for free and optimize their reels, right? To have people have that competitive edge so you can actually practice law, but spend less time having to learn all the business stuff like I had to do. Those little things just help immensely for, a small firm or even for an older firm that needs to get to the new age. So that was the vision. And shit, it's been 2 years, and we have our 2-year anniversary coming up at the end of March 2022. And just crazy to think how quickly it's grown and how it's evolved. But yeah, exciting times.
Yeah, that is really, that's a very innovative kind of take, the Justice HQ approach. It's essentially, a co-working space, right, for solo practitioners, but there's this network, there's this pooled resources. And I hear from solo practitioners all the time that, pressing client matters take, all of their time. They don't have time for anything else, even for simple networking or for dedicating time to marketing, So I think that's really, really smart. We'll make sure at the end of the session to tell everyone how they can learn more about that. But Robert, tell us a little bit. So obviously social media is a big part of what you're doing now and kind of your story, but how long did it take basically before you started generating leads from social media? And do you know maybe what % of your clients now come from your social marketing?
Yeah. We probably have analytics that'll tell you that stuff, but I'll just tell you, I most of my cases come from social media. And it was like that, from, we had an online presence from first week, Jump Street. And it wasn't so much, again, we've been very targeted in who our audience was, because it was young lawyers, because those are the lawyers that didn't do trials because that's what we wanted to do, or lawyers who are not in personal injury that look to us as a resource to refer those cases, or for younger lawyers to want to work together. Because that's how I learned. I used to partner with big law firms that my mentors now that I wanted to work with to learn from them. So we do it now. It's like, hey, we'll carry the cost in your case. We'll do it together. Let's work together. So that's always been the mantra. So when we very first started doing just Instagram, we used to get a ton of messages and DMs. Can you help me on this case? Can you help me on this case? Right. And that's kind of how it started. So now, I learn every day, and we make it easier now for either a consumer, mostly lawyers are the ones that reach out to fill out a form. Here's our AI chatbot. This is where it goes from there, just so we can scale more of the interest level and scale more of the, communication between consumer and or lawyers referring cases to us. But you got to have that call to action on your social media. I help a ton of lawyers with branding, like when they start their firms. I had 3 phone calls this week where I help people. Here's what you should do. And look, guys and gals, don't name your firm, your name and all the names of your partners. It's hard to search for it. It's an email that's hard to remember, right? Sales 101, got to see it 5 times. You got to see it fast. You got to recognize, you got to know it. So when I said we would come back to this, we went from the Simon Law Group to Justice Team. Trademarked it. So if you go to justice.team, it goes to us, Robert at Justice Team, justiceteam.com, much easier for somebody to remember. And I will bet you that just because we are easier to remember, we get a lot more cases and leads than somebody else that has 3 initials as their law firm name, that type of stuff.
Yeah, that's super smart.
Yeah, it's again something you can sell later if you wanted to. Lawyers, you got to think about, you have a brand, you have a presence, you have goodwill. Make sure you're saving all that stuff so you're not, killing yourself into your 70s or 80s as a lawyer.
Right. So you're primarily talking to and targeting other lawyers on social media as opposed to trying to speak directly to prospective clients, right?
Correct. And my firm, we'd like to do litigation and trial. I don't need to do all the consumer, off the street cases. I'll refer a lot of those out to other members at Justice HQ that are very, very good at pre-litigation, managing the client. And then we get usually a right of first refusal on the litigation or trial. We work out stuff like that. Again, I always tell lawyers, if you want to be competitive, profitable, have quality of life, specialize in something and let everybody know what you specialize in, and then outsource the rest of that stuff. It's pretty easy once you get a mentor to show you how to do it.
That's smart. And do you find that the leads that you're generating through social media, in other words, these referrals that are coming through, are higher quality or lower quality than, the leads coming from elsewhere, other marketing sources? Yeah.
So they are higher quality, they're high quality. Again, when somebody's coming to me, another lawyer, that's our target, right? They already have a case. A1, they have a case, right? 2, they know what my specialty is. Right. So if there is we have a damages threshold, like there's only a certain level of cases that I'll particularly try or a firm will litigate. So they already know coming into it, these are pre-screened. Somebody else already signed up the case usually.
Right.
It's the point where they think the case is too big or complicated or too costly, or they want to be able to have a bigger market share with showing how big a verdict is.